Alright, Indian Landing, who is ready to go skiing? Hopefully this video is going to get some of you newbies ready for our first ski club. So this is what you are going to see when you get out of the bus. This is Bristol Mountain from the view of the parking lot. Over here on the right side, that is Rocket Lodge, a big circular lodge that we're going to hang out in. That's where home base is going to be. Those of you who have your own equipment, that's where you're going to head right away. Over here in the middle is Sunset Lodge, and over on the left behind this pole and car, that is the rental office. All of you who are going to rent, you are going to head over that way. After you get all your rental stuff, you are going to head back over to Rocket Lodge, so make sure you take everything with you. As we head into the rental area, we head up these stairs. We go through this little hallway here. You're going to see all the equipment right there through those glass windows. There probably is going to be a bit of a line here. That's okay. We'll be patient, have good attitude. We're going to go right through these doors, and you are going to walk up to a counter where somebody is going to ask you what size boots you need and if it's going to be ski boots or snow boots. Make sure you are ready. There's all those boots right there. After they give you your boots, you're going to follow those people right on down that counter area, and you're going to go right into this area that has a whole bunch of benches where you can put on your boots. Now before you put on your boots, make sure you put on the rest of your ski equipment. You can't put on your boots if you don't have your snow stuff on. Boots can be put right underneath those benches if you'd like. There are some lockers if you want to rent them, but don't worry, no one's going to touch your stinky shoes. Just leave them right there. Everything else, though, needs to come with you. Before we go get our stuff, here's a little tutorial on how to get your boots on.
Snowboard boots and ski boots can be kind of tricky to put on, so here's a quick tutorial for those of you that are new. Some snowboard or ski boots look like this, and they have these kind of latches. You press on them to release, and they come out. When you put on your boots, you're going to want to pull out this tongue as far as you can. These things are really rigid and they're hard to get your feet in, so the farther you get this tongue out, the better. Once you get it in there, loosen it. This goes in there and clicks. And it's fairly tight. And you pull this part tight. You want it snug, but you don't want it so tight that it hurts. Other boots look like this. Instead of a clicking latch, there's a metal latch. Once you get it pretty tight, pull this. This part can be kind of hard, so you gotta get it as tight as you can without hurting. It goes like that. Sometimes they have little loops like this, which help you pull that tongue out as much as you can. Sometimes when you get done, getting these boots off can be hard too. Once you unlatch everything, I like to step right on the back of this and push it off with my other foot. It can be tricky, so stick with it, do your best. Snowboard boots, luckily, are a little bit easier. They usually lace up like this. They're a little bit more comfortable and a little bit softer. Some of them are like this with normal laces. You just tie them as tight as you can. Other ones have little things like this, two tongues. You pull this on like this. Sometimes there's a tie on the inside here that you pull tight. This is called a boa. You actually push it in until it clicks. Then you twist until it tightens everything up. These are super nice because you can get them pretty snug. To get out of these, you just pull this forward. It pops, and then you pull. Snowboard boots are a little bit easier, but still, they take a little bit of time. Your first time putting these on, it might take a little bit of effort. If you need some help, just ask.
Alright, now that we got our ski boots or snowboard boots on, we're going to go get our skis, our poles, and our snowboard. Although, not everybody needs poles. Sometimes beginners like skiing without poles. But if you walk on down over here, over on the left, you're going to see all of that equipment hanging up and all of these little desks. Somebody will call you over. They'll talk to you a little bit about your height, your weight, and your ski level, and they will give you all the equipment you need. Once you've got all that, including all the stuff you need to take over to Rocket Lodge, we're going to head right over outside these doors. before we do, take a quick look. Right over here is the sunset chair. That is the lift that goes about halfway up the hill. And over here on the left side, you're going to see the bunny hill, the lunar launch. That's that tube right there. That's where you beginners are going to start. Also, here is where the snow sports school meeting place is. For those of you that need to get into lessons, beginner lessons start at 4:15. So that's your first goal, is to get over here by 4:15 and get into the snow sports meeting school area. But way over here on the right, that's where Rocket Lodge is, and that's where we're headed. But before we go into Rocket Lodge to find home base and drop our stuff, we put our skis and our snowboards and poles on these little racks. There's signs: do not take skis, snowboards, or ski poles in the lodge. It is dangerous, and there's no space. As you head over to Rocket Lodge, this is what it looks like. There's going to be a whole lot of people in here when we show up. Our home base is usually right over there, towards the front by that brown wall. We'll drop all of our stuff there, and you can always find an adult or a chaperone there. You can eat your food there, and you can leave all the rest of your stuff there. If you'd like to get some food, you could head right up these stairs. There's a little cafeteria up here at the top of Rocket Lodge. Once you get your food, you could eat up here, although it does get pretty crowded. So feel free to come on back down and eat down at home base. Alright, now it's time to go skiing. Let's learn how to put on our snowboards and our skis.
Congratulations! You managed to get your snowboard boots or your ski boots on, and it's time to start getting your skis or your snowboard on. Please make sure you only do this when you are about to get on the hill or about to go skiing. You don't do this right outside of the lodge, and you don't do this until you're ready to get onto the lift or the lunar launch. Otherwise, it can be tricky to get where you need to go. So, let's take a quick look. For those of you that are going to be doing snowboarding, that's what a snowboard will look like. When you get it, sometimes this is kind of folded down. You want to make sure it's nice and open. This is the back. This is the part you're going to lean against when you lift up your toes. There are two latches. Sometimes they look a little bit different, but they all work pretty much the same. You walk on up. This is actually the wrong side, but that's okay. You're going to put your foot in here. You want to make sure you're not stepping on any of these latches. You're going to get these latches over top. And again, just like the boots, this can sometimes be a little tricky. I like to do this front one first. A lot like the snowboard boots or like the ski boots, they kind of click in. You got to hear that click. And sometimes you can even see it right there. And once you do that, there's usually some sort of crank that will help you then crank it tighter. Again, snowboard boots don't need to be super, super tight, but then you're going to do it again with this one. You might need some adjustment. You can see over here there's a little adjustment if it's not quite long enough. Just get it over here, click it in, and then crank it. Now, if you need to get out, or if you fall and need to get out, every boot or every binding is a little bit different. This one has a thing right there, a release that you pull towards the crank. And by doing that, it releases it. You can see it actually lifts right there. And then you just grab both and pull away. So, this way, grab that little part right there, it releases it, and pull it away. And if you fall, you might need to do this in order to stand up. And then get yourself re-cranked in. As a snowboarder, you're only going to lock in one boot because you need to have your other boot free so that you can kind of hop along and push yourself along to go where you need to go. If you're a new snowboarder, you're going to want to figure out which foot you like to keep in, your right or your left. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people like to put their dominant foot forward and hop on their other foot. Other people like to put their not so dominant foot forward and hop on their dominant foot. Skiers, your bindings are going to look a little like this. It has a break here, so that if you fall off and it pops off, it goes like that, and it doesn't go, it stops it, doesn't go shooting down the hill. That could be very dangerous. So, your binding looks like this. That's where your toe goes. This little mechanism here is where it locks. So you walk up in your very rigid, annoying snow boots or ski boots. Put your toe under there. And this back part, you kind of push down as hard as you can until it pops up, clicks. That's locked in. not going anywhere. Now, if you do fall, these will be set so they can turn sideways, or this will release so it doesn't twist your legs. You'll be able to pop right out. I don't know if I can do it. But when it's time to get out, if you come down, this little part is how you push on it. You can do that with your ski pole, like that, and just lift your heel up. I personally like to just step on it with the heel of my other boot. Pops right up. Some kids who are more flexible than I am like to just sit right down and push on it with their hands, and it releases like that. Don't be surprised if you fall and your boot pops out and it's still locked like this. If you try to get your toe in there and try to lock in, you won't be able to do this. If you fall, it's important to check your ski, push this part down, and then it's reset. Then you can re-lock in. Good luck. Happy skiing.
Now that you know how to put on your snowboard and your skis, it's time to go skiing. Of course, most of you newbies are going to get into a lesson first at 4:15, but other people who know how to go up the lift are going to head to these little gates at the bottom of all of the lifts. You're going to make sure that your ski pass is somewhere on the left side of your body. It can be in a pocket, inside or outside. It can be in a sleeve pocket or even a glove pocket. Just make sure it's on the left side of your body, and please make sure it's by itself. It should not be with a cell phone or with any other passes, because that will not make the gate work. But make sure it's on the left side of your body, and if it is, it doesn't have to come out. The sensors on the gates will sense it just like that. They'll open up. You don't need to take it out. You just scooch on through, make your way to the lift. Please make sure that if you have never been on a lift, the first time you do is in a lesson. A ski instructor should tell you that you are ready for a lift if you've never done it before. Also, please notice at the bottom of each lift, there are these little bulletin boards, and there are clocks on there, and they will tell you the time. It's important you know how long it takes you to get down a hill and what time it is, so that you are where you are supposed to be when you are supposed to be. Make sure you know the meanings of these symbols as well. These symbols mark the levels of all of the hills. They also mark the levels of the ski school lesson when you get there. After a wonderful night of skiing, of course, you have to return all your equipment. You're going to go exactly the opposite way that you came in. You're going to head in those doors, you're going to hand them your equipment, take your boots off. You're going to put your regular shoes back on, you're going to gather all your things, and then you're going to head back to Rocket Lodge, where we are going to all gather together before getting on the bus after an awesome first night of skiing. Hope you enjoyed your first ski trip.